This episode of What If It's Cool is brought to you by Respro Clothing. Respro Clothing, where you can get the latest merchandise from all the stars, including Luke Resner, Som, Savannah Rowe, Nova Nichols, and my personal favourite, Conflict Axiom. So make sure you check out Respro Clothing. You can find them on Facebook and on Instagram. Adrenaline Pro Wrestling presents Breakout 36, featuring the up-and-coming stars of Adrenaline Pro Wrestling. Make sure to check it out at 7 p.m. tonight from the Adrenaline Zone. Ticket link is in description. Mayhem Pro presents Relentless Rumble 2, featuring the 20-person Relentless Rumble match, happening Saturday, November 4th. Ticket link is in description. Make sure to check it out. MXW's Wheel of Torture is happening November 4th. Ticket link is in description. Make sure to check it out to see what's going to happen when each wrestler spins that wheel. Hey guys, just here to talk to you about a project that's just about to get started, but they do need a little bit of financial help. The project is called Here Is Your Winner, which is a short film being made about the wrestling industry. It's being started by director Chris DiCarlo, a good friend of mine, and he does need your help, and this is going to be an amazing project. So please, if you can and have the means to, please become a financial backer for this project and help get this project away. I love to help support my friends and anyone who's got an amazing project or a dream that they want to do. Please help support Chris as he's doing this. And don't forget to use the hashtag #ChaseMarshallFans. Let's make it happen. And let's also make Here Is Your Winner a reality. Hello, welcome to another episode of What If It's Cool, the show where we talk about anything and everything that is cool in the world today. I'm about to watch Goldfinger because it's on the telly right now, Daniel Paul Crow, and on this episode, I have a sit-down interview with Doomslayer. We talk about how he got into the world of professional wrestling, his love of WCW, and his love for the TV show Bottom. So sit back, relax, and enjoy No Excuse to Try It with Doomslayer. Thank you for being part of the show. I know you are a very busy man because you've got a show coming up. Now, obviously, this is going to come out a few weeks after this, but you have a match tomorrow. Firstly, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing great. A little bit nervous. I don't know why. I've hosted podcasts before. I've been on many episodes of podcasts, but someone I've never really interacted with, just briefly in messages. But I'm keen. And I'm happy to be here.
Oh,
so thanks for having me.
That's all right. Firstly, because obviously you have a match coming up, can you tell me a little bit about it?
We're in a very long-running, maybe a bit long in the tooth feud with Dominic Knight, but I've got a North-esque championship match with him Saturday, October 7th in Devonport. So we've been semi-attached at the hip for, I feel like a year and a half, and a bit of a detour with James Sly Silver. Dealt with him. We had a bit of a hardcore match. He's in the rearview mirror, apart from him staying at my house tomorrow night. But yes, the score will hopefully be settled with Dominic Knight come Saturday.
Well, good luck to you, my friend. Hopefully, you knock him dead and you kick his head in. But with you saying that the Sly guy is going to be staying over your house, I hope he's not bringing in that bloody
the silverware.
Yeah, the silverware, as I like to call it, the silver cock piece. Oh God! I just saw one of your matches with him recently with that, and by God, I've never seen anything like it. That terrifies me. Normally on my list of like people who I'm scared of, list this and this. No, this is going to be the first time I said an object has actually scared me, and that'd be James Sly Silver's codpiece, because that's I don't even know how to describe it. It's
definitely R-rated. Oh, yeah, he's hit me in the face with it twice now. But I finally got him back with it. That was the crux of our third match, me trying to get that revenge, and I finally got my hands on it, not my face on it, and he got a taste of his own silverware. It was dinner time, indeed.
All right. Well, let's firstly, how did you get into pro wrestling?
Just as a fan, you mean?
Yeah, as a fan.
As a child in primary school, I had a friend that had those big, like not plasticine, but those big chunky figures from like the 80s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and there was like the wrestling ring with the blue ropes. I'm nearly 39 years old, by the way, so I am got to age myself here a little bit.
Oh, finally, I'm actually younger than my guest. I'm glad.
I was listening to an episode today, and where you said that you were 36, and I was like, well, I might be one of the older people that you've talked to. I know you've had Tommy Hellfire on I'm not sure what age he is, but he's been wrestling for a fair while.
Yeah, we don't talk about that because he will kick my head if I do reveal his actual age. So no, I won't do that.
Moving on from Tommy. So that was my sort of first exposure to wrestling, and then later it came with one of the wrestling video games. It was on the Super Nintendo. I think it might just be called WrestleMania.
Yeah, that was a great game. Absolutely great game.
And that's the first time. Like, this Bret Hart guy, he looks really cool. So, like, Bret Hart was my first favorite wrestler, and talking all-time wrestlers, he's my favorite. So, obviously not active anymore, but I've got one of my first tattoos. I've got like
wow,
the Bret Hart.
Jeez,
such a mark.
Hey, it doesn't matter, man. I mean, aren't we all getting into wrestling? Wouldn't we all be fans eventually anyway? I mean, unless we're a supermodel or a football player or James Marshall trying to make his OnlyFans. Like those kind of people just get into wrestling. But it's fun to be a mark, I feel. And hopefully, I'm not a wrestler, so I'm using all these terminologies, but hopefully I can use that. And
no, it's fine. You get a pass. It's fine. It's fine. So yeah, wrestling. I got into it that way, and then I didn't actually watch wrestling. Like, there was a few times at friends' house where like we'd go down to Blockbuster or whatever was around before that and rent some VHSs. Just like Royal Rumble 1992, just the most random stuff. And like, I didn't know who any of the people were, but still thought it was cool. And then here in Tasmania, or at least in Launceston, the only way to watch wrestling was a 1 hour recap episode of Nitro in like from 1998 to 99. Oh, up until when it probably finished actually. And that was like 11 weeks behind. And it was a 1 hour recap of a 3 hour show.
Oh my God, I totally forgot about those.
And it was on at midnight.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then sometimes it wasn't at all. It would get bumped for like championship swimming tournaments or something. You'd stay up till like midnight and it's not even on. And so,
what channel was that on? I forgot. It was
on Win, at least.
Yeah, that's right.
At least here. I'm not sure if interstate you had a.
We had it on Channel 9, which is Win over it's the same channel, but essentially, but the only difference was we got it at 11 o'clock on a Saturday morning. And but again, it fluctuated. It was always going to be. It was either at 11 o'clock or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And then if you were lucky enough to have cable, we were 4 weeks behind. But it was always at 7 o'clock on a Saturday night, and then replayed at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, which is great to have the full show.
Was that Nitro or Jeff?
That was Nitro, yeah.
Yeah. So Nitro is something I got way into. So I'm a WCW guy, and the very first match I saw watching that was like a cruiserweight battle royal or Royal Rumble that I think Billy Kidman won. And like, I saw Rey Mysterio Jr. doing crazy stuff. It's like, this is amazing. And then I pretty much got back into wrestling, being a wrestling fan. Apart from like there might be a 7-year dip, but like pretty much from like 1999 up until now, really.
Oh wow!
Yeah, when I turned like 18, 19, I was interested in other things, and then I came back to wrestling later.
Mate, the moment you turn 18, there's a whole different ball game.
Absolutely. Luckily, my fiance is playing the PlayStation. She's got headphones on, so she's not hearing what I'm saying right now. So
yeah, but she'll catch the replay of this and go,
yeah.
What did you say?
What were you doing when you were 19? Exactly.
Hey, we were teenagers. It's a long time ago. Don't worry about it, love. It's okay. I won't do that anymore. Wink, wink. But I'm going to ask this because I asked the Grey this as well, but because to a wrestler, and you are a WCW mark. Obviously you did watch WWF at the same time, or at least you've gone back and watched it.
Yeah, in retrospect, yeah.
Who are you siding with on this one? NWO or DX?
I was always NWO. Like, I'm sure I've got it there. I'm sure it's on the hanging up drying now, but I've got the NWO, the Wolfpack. It's the black and white and the Wolfpack ice hockey jersey.
Yeah, those are cool. Those were awesome.
Yeah, I think I've seen JXT in pictures with one. It's the only other person I've seen have one. But I was really into wrestling and ice hockey video games for some reason at the time. And my cousin was in Melbourne, but she lived there. And so I'm just to ring me up. I'm at the whatever market, and they've got all these ice hockey jerseys, and there's a wrestling one. Do you want it? I'm like, a wrestling? Yeah, okay, I'll have that. And she's like, when next time I saw her, she just gave me this NWO jersey that still gets worn to today. Like, my fiance's stolen it, She's stolen that off me and the Bullet Club hoodie, but I'm happy with that. She wears
Mate,
it more
she
than,
sounds like a keeper if she's
yeah,
stealing your wrestling merch. That's for sure.
absolutely. She is.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you said NWO because I am a NWO night NWO for life in my opinion. I mean, as much as I love DX, they were never as cool as the NWO, and I don't give a shit what anyone says. Like they may have too many members. If you
Yeah,
had the black and white on, you were cool in my book, and you always will be cool if you were in the NWO.
yeah. But, in retrospect, it was horrible for the, it did terrible things for the business in the end, just the way that NWO angles and storylines, everything went. But it's still really cool as well at the same time.
NWO 2000. Yeah, it was
I
really
was
bad way
jumping
to
out.
say
I was that like midnight watching NWO 2000. Bret Hart guy here, and like I was like jumping out of the bed. Like, this is the best thing ever. Bret Hart's in the NWO, and that lasted a couple of weeks. Then he got his concussion. It seemed like, and
Yeah.
Jeff Jarrett was jobbing to all these old guys, the old age outlaws. I don't know if you remember that bit with Terry Funk and all them.
Yes, I do. I
I was
remember
like,
that.
that was my phase where I liked Jeff Jarrett, which has only been rekindled in the last couple of months in his AEW run. But anything in between Jeff Jarrett was just
I don't know. I don't know what it was about Jeff Jarrett in the NWO, but I just thought it was just lame. I love Jeff Jarrett. Don't get me wrong. I just when that came about, I was like, he why he doesn't belong. He's not. No, don't. And, yeah.
I was such into Jeff Jarrett at that time in 2000 that I was in grade 10 and in woodwork class, like I had a big bit of plyboard and like I cut it with like the jigsaw in the shape of a guitar and then like I spray painted NWO on it and I just like lifted as if I was like, listen here, slap nuts. Oh, I'm so embarrassing. Yeah, I think you got to fire me from this now.
Oh no, that's fine. I mean, I've had James Bolton on here, and if you guys are aware, he played Jeff Jarrett on Young Rock, and oh my god, just having him just do his interaction of Jeff Jarrett on camera was the most honest thing I've done in quite some time. And it like afterwards we talked about it as well, and he showed me some more footage of his interaction with Jeff, and man. I would have loved to have been in the room just to see those two interact, to do it fully, because he only just showed me like highlights, but jeez, it was good.
Yeah.
I have to get Jeff Jarrett on here one day. And I'm not going to say, I wish or anything. I'm being optimistic. I'll say one day I'll have Jeff Jarrett on here, and I ask myself, what's it like to be interacting with your younger self? Because that's pretty much what he was doing. And it was a very interesting conversation, just from what I saw in those highlights. Now, moving on, how exactly did you get into the industry itself?
Well, TCW started up, I think their very first show was 2013, but they come about like maybe it was 12 months before that because they needed people to be trained up for wrestling. So I was made aware, like I remember in the newspaper, it was like, hey, there's a professional wrestling starting up in Tasmania, and it's in Launceston where I live. And I went to the first few shows and then I was sort of on and off going to the shows, but it was never something feasible. I think I had some like injury problems from football. And I had some long-term things where I was not able to be so active like that. And then my job was not feasible, was like the times that my shifts were that I could never go to training. And then circumstances changed with my job. And then I was playing football, like didn't miss a game, no injuries or anything. So I really don't have an excuse why I can't at least go and try this out. Go to an open day or just a training session at TCW.
Yeah.
And then I finally went, and it was a couple of days before my 36th birthday, and so this is November 2019, and I haven't looked back. I train mostly twice a week, with trainings on 3 days a week. Very like in those early 6 months, bar when COVID shut us down from training, but within 4 months of actually training, I think I was on a show. So
wow,
yeah, I was. It was 11 months after first training, but we had a few months where training was shut down due to COVID. So I was like, I don't really, am I ready to do this yet? And sometimes I still feel like that when when you just before your music starts, and it's the most terrifying thing. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was going to say, what was it like in lockdown, and I realized, hang on, you're in Tassie. You didn't have to go through the hell that we had to go to here in Victoria. Oh God. But like, how during that process, because obviously a lot of things were shut down. Did they do anything in preparation for you to be training in those times, or was it just you just had to wait and then go back in?
We just had to wait, and then we sort of had whenever the regulations were, I know you can start doing exercise classes again. So we would like meet outdoors in the park and just do like fitness stuff. We weren't doing any actual wrestling things again at that point.
Mm.
And then once everything was all clear for us to do it, we went straight back into training. And then October 10th, 2020 is when I made my debut. So in a few days, it'll be 3 years since my debut.
Wow. That's great. Great to hear.
Yeah.
Talk me through your debut match. Firstly, who was it with and how did it go?
Well, we found out about it because they put up the match graphic, but it was like just blank, like generic wrestlers with no, it was just like the silhouette kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
Like 2 new wrestlers making their debut. And this is before anybody had told us that we were making our debut. And I'll message the guy who's Mike Murphy. And I'm like, that looks like a silhouette of you. Is that you? And it's like, yeah, that's definitely like of one of his promo photos. And then they just grabbed a generic thing for me because I hadn't done any promo photos to be turned into a silhouette. And I'm like, so then we message Eddie Jones, who's one of the owners, main booker, and like, are we wrestling on this show? It's like, yeah, you are. I didn't want to give you like too much notice because I didn't want you to like have too much time to stress over it all. So we still had a couple of weeks.
Okay.
It was the most bare bones match. There's like some arm drags and whatever else was in it. It was the most terrifying experience of my life. But as soon as it was over, it's like, man, I want to do that again right away. So I felt like, and I was wrestling under a mask because I was refereeing on shows at the time, and so then I could just be involved, just do as much stuff as I could. So I'd ref like sometimes 3 or 4 matches and then wrestle on a match as well. So under the mask, and I was like, oh my God, I feel like I'm going to spew in this thing. But as soon as it's over, you get this massive high. And still do to a certain extent, and you just need a way to sort of decompress, and you just want to talk about it the whole time, and nobody else really cares. And it's like, oh God, all this guy goes on about. It's a tough thing sometimes psychologically.
Oh no, of course. But hang on, so you wore a mask. Firstly, I've had one other mask wrestler on the show, and that was Valido, a good friend of mine, and he said to me a few times that it is quite hot and it's quite hard to see half the time. What made you want to be wrestling in a mask? Because like I've wrestled in a mask, just play fighting with some members of my family, and after 2 minutes, I was sweating and I was gassed, man. I can't imagine what it's like to be in a ring and hitting each other for real doing that.
I mean, the hardest thing about it is like having it sit over your eyes properly, and not like as soon as you're in a side headlock, the mask gets pulled to the side, and you're like, wait, let's not do anything yet because I can't see where I'm about to start running off to. So apart from like just that hardness, I did have like a mesh covering my mouth, so I was able to still breathe pretty well. But it was good to create that barrier between you and the audience seeing how terrified you are. But then you also got to like use your body language and be able to get across things as well as you can. But I think it helped prepare me to wrestle unmasked, which was maybe a year and a half, pretty much nearly 18 months after my debut is when I dropped the mask and had a character change. But I guess it's one of the main reasons I had the mask was it was a bit of a rush to like, oh, you're going to be wrestling, you better come up with something. So, well, I'll get a mask and then I'll create a character around that. It's like, so I just went on, I think it's March, Lucha Mask or maskmaniac.com. And I picked out something that's not obviously a Rey Mysterio one or a Rey Fenix one. There's so many of them, I was like, that's just like a replica mask. But the mask I did get actually was a wrestler's one that I'd never heard of. But then I just took some scissors to it and got someone to just like sew some patches over it just to make it look a little bit different. But I do have a Doomslayer shirt on, one of my new merch ones here. So I've got some pictures with the mask on it. And there's one down there as well. Not that the listeners could see it.
No, that's right. Hang on, but before we continue, because I'm a plugging man, where can we get that lovely piece of merchandise?
At a live show at Tasmanian Championship Wrestling.
Beautiful.
Or the next time if Wrestling Go will hopefully have me again, or if I do make it to an AWF show, or if anybody out there would like to book me for interstate shows, I'd love to be there. But,
yeah, just make sure you DM him on Instagram, Facebook, wherever you can find him, and you can always DM me as well. But also just remember, I take a 10% surcharge on that one. So yeah, we'll continue. But yeah, you were saying, my friend.
Yeah, so Under the Mask, well, this will be the look, and then I'll create a name about it, and everything was based on the mask, and say, okay, well, it's a black mask, it's got some red on it. Well, black pants will look good with that, and whatever. Then I'll go for this sort of a dark metal and chain, like steel and chain sort of look to go with it.
Yeah.
I've had variations depending on what my matches, who they've been against. Like I might do something wacky where I had against Adrian Alexander, the Champagne Diamond. So he wears gold and he has really white hair. So then like I came out with gold tights and a blonde wig, and then I've come out and I've done like, the Dick Togo reaction gif where he like pulls the mask off. So I've come out, I've got the ring, and I've pulled the wig off. I'm like, hey, it was me. It's like, yeah, no. So I do like to have a lot of fun with my entrances. Like in this, you would have seen in the most recent match with Sly Silver, I came out of Sub-Zero.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that because I thought that was so cool. I was like, somebody normally comes out in? Oh, okay, no. Yeah. Well, hang on, talk me through because what was the original name that you went under when you were under the mask?
Well, it was El Hijo de Doomslayer, and I still do keep that for like my Facebook profile and the Instagram profile, but I do wrestle just as Doomslayer now. But the way I've kept that just easier to find. It's like I didn't realize that now. Doomslayer, the name has been adopted by the main character from the Doom video games, which was not what I was going for. So just that, when you're Googling it, you're going to find me.
Yeah.
Instead of finding something else with the name Doomslayer. That's basically why I've kept that. And it was under a mask, so it's like, oh, is this guy Latin or what? Luchador. So.
Well, I like the name, but I'll be flat honest. Whenever I hear the name Doomslayer, I don't think of Doom. I don't think of anything that's incredibly cool.
I hope you're going to tell me what. I hope you're going to tell me.
Oh yeah, it's probably if everyone's just going to go, that's not funny, and I don't get it, but I don't give a this is my show. But have you ever heard of the UK series Bottom? Which
yes, that's what it's from.
Oh, so you know exactly what I'm about to say.
Yes.
Thunderwing Doomslayer.
Yes, my finishing move is called the Thunderwing as well.
Oh, I love this guy so much right now.
Oh, this is unbelievable. Yes.
So, oh God. Oh, all right. Anyone from Victoria who is looking to book anyone from overseas or from interstate, please book this man. I want to meet him, and I want to hang out with this guy now. Who do I have contacts with? Adrenaline Pro Wrestling, Victoria Pro Wrestling, World Series Wrestling, Deathmatch Down Under, MXW, Alpha Pro Wrestling, PCW. Please book this man. I want to see him now. Sorry, and I forgot BCW too.
Yeah.
If I've forgotten anybody, please. I'm sorry. I'm just so excited right now.
I'll let you explain this the Doomslayer. This Thunderwing Doomslayer. I've talked a lot, so I'll give you a bit of a chance.
It's not about me, but I'll explain it a little bit. But so Bottom is a black comedy from the United Kingdom, starring the great Adrian Emerson and the late great Rick Mail, as two guys who basically down in luck, just trying to get on life and always trying to shag, but always failed miserably. And the Doomslayer bit comes from, I believe, from their live show. It would have been
Hooligans Island, I think it's called.
No, I don't think it was Hooligans Island because
they're on a deserted island. So
no, because remember there were two. Because the Hooligans Island was the first one. The second one, which was 2001, an Arse Odyssey, and it was 2001, an Arse Odyssey because he was wearing overalls, and so Rick Bell was wearing overalls, and he didn't have the blonde hair, which was on the Hooligans Island. But Oh God, I'm so excited because every time I mention Bottom, no one knows it, and it's such a great show and a great live
Every
show.
Christmas morning, I have the tradition of watching the Christmas episode of Bottom. It's like
I thought
the last 5 or 6 years, like every time.
Do you watch Goldfinger afterwards as well?
Goldfinger. Yeah.
And there's bloody Goldfinger on the telly. What you? I'm sorry, guys. If you guys have never watched Bottom, definitely check it out. The live shows are all free on YouTube because somebody who was really nice and put them all on there. But to continue on with it for how Doomslayer come about, Rick is basically just talking shit as he always does, and then he mentions something about hawking, and Aid just turns around and goes, "Hawking?" He goes, "Yes, I'm hawking for game with my hawk." Thunderwing Doomslayer, and it just turns out to be just some parrot that you don't see until it eventually comes out, and yeah, that's the origin of Thunderwing Doomslayer, and I love this band so much.
Because when I watched that live show, and then the name Thunderwing Doomslayer, it's like, if I'm ever a wrestler, I've got to use that, and then like the only time I'd ever use it in the meantime before actually wrestling was on not Guitar Hero, but Rock Band, where I named my band like Thunderwing. And it's like, well, Doomslayer doesn't work as just the name of a band. So the band I created on there was Thunderwing. And then, El Hijo de Doomslayer. And then just Doomslayer. And then like I do the Riptide with, the pump handle drop thing.
Yep.
But that's called the Thunderwing. So.
Oh, beauty. Oh, God. I'm still tingling because I can't believe I finally met somebody who knows Bottom, but also has named a move after one of the best lines in the entire thing they've ever done.
The only other person I've talked to that's like known the reference is actually Dominic Knight, who I'm against this weekend.
Oh, all right. I'm gonna try and get Dominic on the show, and we're gonna have it. You know what? I reckon we should do. We get Dominic on the show eventually, all three of us, and we just talk about Bottom because, like,
I'm keen for that.
How fucking great would that be? Just because, like, obviously Rick, it's next year it'll be 10 years since we lost the great Rick Mail. I reckon that'll be a great tribute episode we could do next year. I reckon. Yeah.
I need to rewatch like the whole series because there's only a few episodes I've really rewatched, but then every year I always watch the Christmas one. It's like I just need to because it's all on the hard drive, so I need to plug everything into the TV and just sit down and films. I don't think that's streaming on anything. Maybe
I don't know. It's on BritBox, I believe. I think it's on there because it was a BBC production, so it should be all on there.
Yeah.
Don't quote me on that, guys. I don't know because I don't have BritBox. I can't justify spending another $10? Yeah, too many things to stream these days. Yeah. Jesus, what you all should be streaming is What If It's Cool wherever you podcast. That's for sure. That's a cheeky plug. But moving on, as much as I want to talk about Bottom, Rick Mail, and Adrian Emerson, we got to continue to talk about your career. But yeah, so you've had your debut match, and then later on you decide to take the mask off, and. So, what exactly motivated just to shorten it to Doomslayer? Because it was just too long, or was it?
I think it was a bit too long, but also without the mask on, it sort of takes. It's like, why is this guy in El Hijo? Like Tasmanians, like not going to really, or even Australia for general. It's like, would they identify that as being like a Mexican name kind of thing? It's like, but this guy's just a white guy. It's like, why has he got that name? So, it was partially that, and and without the mask, I just wanted bit more of a sort of the next chapter starts here kind of thing. And then
well, I think if you even had kept it there, it's still, I reckon it still had merits to be on there. I personally, I don't give a shit what people think if they don't think my name, if I was a wrestler, doesn't match. I'll just this is who I am, and take it or leave it. But at the same time, if you're comfortable to change it, just go for it. And I think Doomslayer is a lot better, to be honest, simply because it's nice and simple, and rolls off the tongue, and just the merchandise that just come from that this one worded name. You can like, this is you can say like this is a Doomslayer vest, the Doomslayer pants, the Doomslayer flamethrower, stuff like that. It will definitely work. It'll definitely sell. Like
I haven't gone past the t-shirts yet. I don't think no other merch yet, but we
got to get you a pop vinyl. We got to get you this.
for considering I've only been wrestling not quite 3 years yet, I've gone through that many t-shirt merch designs. It's ridiculous.
How many have you had so far?
Oh, I feel like I've had 6 different ones or something.
Oh, I said, no. You need to get more, man.
We only have shows every 2 months as well, so it's like the turnaround's insane. That's what I'm trying to. It's pretty much been like 12 months, I think, since I first started messaging like outside companies, which is like TCW, Tasmanian Championship Wrestling, is the only company in Tasmania, for those that don't know. Because I was, you look shocked.
Did you? Yeah, I thought there was like 3.
No, just the one. There's only ever been the one. Yeah.
So, oh man, I just further proving, folks, that I'm the world's shittest journalist. Because I swear to God, I thought there were 3 of them, and I'm like, when you said 1, I went, hang on, wait. I went, no. Yep, I'm terrible.
Yeah, it's been like a year since I started. I got brave enough to like, right, I'm gonna start. I'll put together like a little bit of a package. Here's my Dropbox folder. It's got my promo pictures. It's got entrance video and some full matches. Never do just the clip. Never do highlight reels, which I wouldn't have done anyway. But like the people have told me, like, don't send someone a highlight reel. They just won't give you the time of day. And finally, you know, I just made the last match I had was my interstate debut. But I'm fast forwarding a bit, but we can talk.
No, but I'm just like, why like the highlight reel? I always love people's highlights. Why would they? What's the point of not sending a highlight reel?
Well, I imagine as a booker is like, oh, this person can just do flips and stuff. They're not going to send videos of them selling or bumping. You know, it's just them.
Oh, okay. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, talk me through that you got your first interstate booking. Now that was with Wrestling Go, the one with the Pikachu stuff, isn't it?
Yeah.
Definitely check that out, because that's some funny shit that they do over there. Hey, did I sue you? I can't remember. I could be wrong, but I remember there was a company that did this. Is that the company that had the watermelon? Like it was like the hardcore title, and it was like a watermelon thing.
I've definitely seen that. There was definitely a watermelon thing going on there. I didn't know what the deal was with it. It was after I was there. It's like, what's this watermelon thing for? Because unfortunately, I wasn't able to stick around for the full show because we had a flight to catch, because I wasn't originally there to be on Wrestling Go in Sydney. But there's something to do with the watermelon. I'm not sure what that story is, but yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like their hardcore title, and I just remember because I remember Shaz McKenzie shared a video of her holding this stuffed watermelon. I thought, what the f is this thing going? And then she gets pulled over and been pinned, and then later on there was a guy in a Pikachu costume holding the thing. Then I think it was Caveman Ugg holding it and then getting pinned, and then it was just like for a good 6 months. They were posting these videos of like people holding it and then getting pinned. I'm like, that's their hardcore championship, and I don't understand it, but I fucking love it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think the wrestling should be too serious. Like Wrestling Goes seems like a lot more lighthearted than the average company, and I think that's awesome.
Yeah, like you said, wrestling doesn't have to be that serious. I mean, there are times where you can be very serious, but some of the best things is stuff when it's unexpected, or it's just a bit of comedy. I think one of the best things I saw at the start of the year was Bandito. Was it this year or? It may have been last year. Unfortunately, I'm getting old. I'm taking too many blocks that hits to the head. Bandito and Johnny Dan Under, or what's he called now? Johnny
TV. I think it's Johnny TV, is it?
Johnny TV, that's right. They had a match, and all of a sudden afterwards they ended up doing a dance at the end at World Series Wrestling. And it's just unexpected, but it was so fun to see, and see everyone just cheering and everything, and to see Bandito dance like that. You had never seen anything like that. That's just great.
Was that the show with Shrek in the front row?
Yes, it was. No, that was the night after, I think.
Okay.
But the guy who dressed for Shrek was there as well.
Yeah, I watched those online on Fight Plus. I think those ones.
No, that was a good night, and I don't know who the guy is who's dressed as Shrek. All I'm just going to say is, sit down. It's hard to see sometimes.
Yeah.
but that guy's amazing. I do love him though. I loved how he got in the spirit of things in the show.
Yeah.
But talk me through how, because obviously you said you weren't meant to be wrestling on that show. How did that come about?
I was originally meant to be on AWF, Australian
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling Federation, and that had come about. I think, on the AWF Facebook page, there was a post saying looking to like add new wrestlers to the roster, send an email kind of thing. So it's like, all right, well, I haven't emailed or messaged any company for months because I'd given up at that point because I'd messaged 9 places at this time already. And just sort of like, oh yeah, we'll have a look and we'll get back to you. Or, oh yeah, sounds great. We'll get back to you with some dates. And it's just they don't get back to you. And so I sent them an email, and then I've pretty much got an email back like the next day or really soon. And it's like, how about this? How about the 23rd of September in Katoomba? It's like, first my initial thought was, where the fuck is Katoomba? And then and then I looked it up and it's like, okay, we can do this. So we booked the flights, go on the Friday night and then come back Sunday. It's like, we'll make a bit of a trip out of it, me and my fiance, and we'll check out Katoomba. It looks amazing, just looking on the photos for it up there in the Blue Mountains. Never, ever been in that area before. When it comes to New South Wales, I've only been in Sydney for like 2 nights in my life. And that's always just stop over to get to Japan on my trips over there. And then, it was like the day before or 2 days before the AWF event, a couple of weeks ago, and it had been postponed. And so,
oh man,
I was pretty devastated because it had been such a build up, and like after 3 years of wrestling, I'm finally going to have my interstate debut, and then 4 weeks ahead, it's like, all right, we got booked in for this, and then like a day or two beforehand, it's like, shit. And so it's like, all right, we'll still go over and try to do something in Sydney for the weekend, and cancelled the Katoomba accommodation, but still had the Sydney one. And then I'm sure you know who Michael Lee is. Yes. So I used to do a podcast with him on the B Plus.
I haven't. Okay. Because John Crossfire was telling me about him. So that's how I know him.
He's the most loveliest man ever. Michael Lee is. So I messaged him. I said, I know you haven't put up your weekly roundup of all the shows it's on yet, but do you know if there's any other wrestling shows on in Sydney or New South Wales on this weekend? He goes, oh, wrestling goes on. And I go, all right, cool. I'll message them. And so I only had the intentions of just meeting them and like helping with the ring crew or whatever, but like they mess, and it's like, and I sent my Dropbox thing. It's like, this is information about me. Not knowing that I'd actually met the promoter before, like years ago when he came down to TCW.
Oh.
And it's like, got back to me really quick, and it's like, I'll put you on the show. I was like, amazing. So, and then it's like, how long are you in Sydney for? It's like, well, actually, the show starts at 2 p.m. on the Sunday. It's like, flights at 6 o'clock that night. It's like, all right, I'll put you on seconds. Then you have time to get to the airport. And so, yeah, it was amazing. I feel like Chewbacca to Han Solo. I feel like so indebted to Wrestling Go after like getting that opportunity, and not having the weeks of like build up. Like in TCW, it's like 2 months ahead, like have a bit of an idea of who we're wrestling against each show, and then like maybe 2 weeks before the match comes around, we'll generally start planning out what we're going to do and go do some run throughs of it a couple of times. But then it's like, all right, you're wrestling against Torture, and that's like in 2 days' time. It's like, so have message Torture a couple of times, watch each other's matches and that. And then literally didn't lock up until in the ring. Literally didn't have time to like take a bump in the ring until the match was on. And it's like, this is awesome. Yeah, like I didn't have time to be get too worried about it. It's like, yeah, I'm a big boy, I can do this. As like more and more wrestlers keep turning up, it's like, man, there's a lot of guys here and we working in front of for the first time. But it was just a great experience. Just meeting everyone. I didn't have a whole lot of time to talk to a lot of the people there. I got to talk to a few of them though. Just was had to like literally like as soon as the match was over, I was tipping a bottle of water over me, changing, and we got a lift to the train station. Then we're on the train. Then we're on the other train, and then we're at the Sydney airport. And it's like baggage closed. It's like, anybody else for Launceston? I was like, yes. Like that's how close we cut it. So
wow,
it was a great experience, and I'd love to do it again.
What a story! That is good. And kudos for Wrestling Go for for doing that for you. And man, I've yet to go to Wrestling Go because I'm in Melbourne, Victoria. But that's more motivation for me to go over there now just to check it out.
Yeah, and so there was originally like 6 matches on the card, I think. It ended up being 9. There ended up being a bunch of people that was meant to be on the AWF show that ended up being on there as well. So,
well, what exactly happened with AWF? It was just a venue opening, or you're not sure?
Oh, I'm not sure.
Oh, okay, and AEW is that's TNT's promotion, right? Yeah. I've got it again. Another person I have to get on. And TNT, if you're watching or listening, we'll be in touch. Yeah. But yeah, no, that's really cool. And man, I'm stoked that you got to be able to do that. And
so
hopefully,
I went from this big high of this is coming up, and then boom, like crash. It's like it's not happening. Devastated, and then wrestling goes, "You're on the show." I was like, "Whoa!" Straight back up. It's like, holy shit, it's gonna happen. And then it happens, and then, but like that whole day, it was like that Sunday morning. It's like 8 o'clock in the morning in the hotel. It's like, all right, we'll have breakfast, and then we've got to get out to Blacktown, and then the setup, and then have the match, and then it was just. So the match happens about 2:30, and then like we don't get home till like 9 o'clock at night, and then still, we've got to go to bed. It was like I start work at 6 in the morning on Monday, and then I feel like I never got to really have the come down because it's like so on that whole like 24 hours and even longer, and it took me days to really be out of like, man, you know what, I did that.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. Not that I'm putting my religious views on here, but God works in mysterious ways, my friend, and that's just a. My heart feels really happy to hear that you went through all that, and God, thank you for sharing that story. I thought that's absolutely fantastic. Now we've come to the staple question here on what if it's cool. What is something that you find cool that nobody else does? And I know we just talked about bottom, but let's try something else.
That's a good point actually. See, I've been listening to a few episodes of the podcast to prepare it, and I'm like, things that are cool, but it's like so many things have a fandom now. It's like, oh, I remember when Star Wars wasn't that cool. I guess in a way Star Wars isn't cool now. And then like there's wrestling, and then it's like, well, I really like Twin Peaks, the show, and things about Twin Peaks. It's like, but people like that as well. It's like, and then I'm like, anime. It's like, oh God, everyone likes anime. It's like, it's such a hard question. And then so I have settled on movie 1986, No Retreat, No Surrender. Now, have you heard of this movie?
I know the movie, but oh God, I'm gonna catch so much heat on this one.
Maybe not.
I have not. And here's the thing: I own all 4 movies on DVD.
There's only
3.
I
have. Huh? No. There's a fourth one. There is a fourth one. It doesn't have. It's I can't remember who the guy took over, but I have yet to watch it. And I'm kicking myself because I'm like, I like JCVD, and I've been hearing it's a really good movie because he's a bad guy in that one, right?
Yeah, he's only in it for like less than 10 minutes total runtime, but like I don't think of it as a Van Damme movie. I just think of it as just like this weird movie, this martial arts movie. Bruce Lee's ghost is in it. It trains this guy to be a better fighter, and then he just so happens to be able to have that big fight at the end against Van Damme. Van Damme's like in the very beginning, and then he turns up at the end. It's like, I guess you could say it's his first major role. It's
yeah.
It wasn't until a couple of years later where like Van Damme really broke through. But this is a movie that I think some people have watched it, like people that like watch 80s martial arts films and that, like they're like, oh yeah, I've seen that movie, but I love it. Like I'm actually swearing more on this than I was planning to, but I didn't want to have to beep everything out.
No, that's all right.
This is a movie that I watch maybe 4 or 5 times a year. It's like, if I'm depressed, I watch this movie. If I'm super hungover and I can't move that morning, then I watch this movie. If I'm in bed sick, I watch this movie. Or if I just want to show somebody that's never seen it, I watch this movie. And like looking at my like letterboxed, I don't know if you know what letterboxed is or IMDb, like my check-ins.
Yeah.
Like since I've started doing that, like in the last however many years, like I've legitimately watched it like over like 15 times in the last 7 years or something like that. Like it's a movie as an adult that I'll rewatch a lot. And the acting's bad. There's like some dodgy stunt work in it. It's like, oh, that's a stunt double there, that bit. Or why are they? This guy he's literally just met this guy and he's like giving him his dad's car keys and it's like, oh yeah, take me to where Bruce Lee was buried. And there's this like the bully's just like sitting there and he's across the street leaning against the car and he's got an entire chocolate cake in his hand and he's just going,
What?
He goes, another Bruce Lee freak. It's a movie that every time I watch it, I just might look off to the side. I'll just like, that's a weird thing that's happening over there, or it's like it's a weird choice, or it's like just pick up on different things every time. And yeah, No Retreat, No Surrender. Like I've watched number 2 and 3, and they're not very good. And this supposed fourth one, I don't think actually exists, but I think I'd know about it unless it came out in like the last couple of years.
Hang on, I'm going to do a quick Google search. And this is really unprofessional of me to do, but I'm sure.
Some other franchise.
No, I'm pretty sure there was a fourth one because I remember it said quadrilogy. No retreat, no surrender. Let's have a look. Because yeah, like it's. I remember another person who used to work on the show was saying how this is a really hard movie to find, and if I ever found it, I've got to. It was like the whole whole series. That I've got to get it for him. I'm like, okay, well, I'll try and find it, and he was right. I've not seen it. Okay. So I am wrong. Sorry. It's 3.
Yeah. Okay. I wonder if you're thinking of something else that was a quadrilogy. Maybe the Creep Show franchise or something, like some movies.
I'm thinking maybe I'm confusing with, at the time at least, Universal Soldier. Maybe that might be. But then they've had 6 sequels now.
Yeah, there's a few more. Yeah. Good luck finding someone that loves like Universal Soldier 5. If anybody finds What If It's Cool for you? Is that the Randy Couture one? I don't know. Is Van Damme actually in that one longer than 5? Just like No Retreat, No Surrender, he's in it for less than 10 minutes.
Yeah. No, I just remember the one with Pitbull in it. Oh,
really?
Oh,
the musician Pitbull.
Freaking, oh my god, the UFC fighter Pitbull, Anthony something. Yeah, that Universal Soldier one was shocking. But then again, if you ever saw the director home video sequels of Universal Soldier,
they just got like a horrible blue tint over them. And
God!
Dolph Lundgren turns up for a little bit, and they're just walking around like some like broken down factory area. It's like it's very dull. Just No Retreat, No Surrender instead.
Yeah, we'll go with that one. But I'm just trying to think what's that other series that Van Damme did? Oh, friggin' it's not a series, but one that it had a sequel, but Van Damme wasn't in it. Thank Christ.
Oh, Kickboxer.
No. Although that Kickboxer was really good, but double Impact, the one with Dennis the Worm Rodman in it. Was that Double Impact?
I don't think that wasn't a franchise. I think that was just a one-off.
No. See, it was a franchise. No one really knows this because they made a sequel to it with Rodman in it. It was called Simon Says.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Because there was Double Team and Double Impact as well, and I sometimes have to remember.
Oh, sorry, Double Team was the one. Sorry, Double Team was the movie, not Double Impact. But yeah, they made
the two Well, Van Damme loves to do movies with multiple Van Dammes in it.
Yeah. You know what the best one he ever did that no one talks about, and I think the story is great. The acting may not be the best, but I think the story is great, and Van Damme is actually so good in it. I'm surprised that No. That's talked about, and that's a good movie.
I think that is his actual best movie. Like, if I'm being serious.
Yeah, but I don't know if you've seen this one, Replicant.
Yes.
You know what? You put Time Cop over Replicant.
I think I've seen Replicant only the once. Yeah,
because that's the one. That's when he has a clone of this killer, and they're trying to find the killer.
That doesn't narrow down his filmography very well. Is that a few where Maximum Risk? Is there a clone of him right at the beginning of that as well?
No, isn't that his twin or something?
Oh, twin. He's had
or doppelganger or something. I don't know.
Yeah, see, He just doesn't want to pay anybody else. In his
Maximum.
I'm playing 2 roles. I want paid double.
The only reason I remember that movie is for one particular scene, and if you know it, I'm not going to say it, but yes, it's for that scene. And that, being a 15-year-old boy watching it, you can understand why I remember that movie, that part of that movie.
Well, Van Damme was not shy of getting his own ass out in most of his movies either. I think you just muted yourself. I don't.
Speaking of, you say Type Cop, the only reason why we watched it multiple times in the Crow household is because of the split scene, because every female member of my family loved that scene.
Yeah, I remember Nowhere to Run. Have you seen that one?
I've heard of it. I've not watched it yet. Yeah,
he gets his ass out in the lake there, and I feel like it's happened in a few. I got like my friends growing up. Like there was like Arnie fans, Stallone fans. I was always, but just like I was the WCW guy, I was the Van Damme guy.
Okay, I'm trying to think, who was I siding with when I was a kid?
As long as you weren't Seagal.
No, so back when this is a 4-piece, I will say this publicly again. I do not like. It's not the person. I do not like Steven Seagal's movies at all.
Yeah,
okay, there I said it. That's not me getting any heat. I just plainly don't enjoy his movies. But I think I probably would say it because I saw a lot of it and stuff, and I grew up watching Rocky a lot. I'd probably say I was a Stallone fan more than anything. I mean, close second would be Arnie, because one of the first movies I ever got to see live of his was The Last Action Hero, which apparently no one saw, but it's a great movie.
That's all. I rewatched it recently. It's like that's so underrated, ahead of its time, really.
Oh, the soundtrack is banging on that one, and I still can't believe that was a flop. I was like, this was great.
Yeah.
But also in saying that, though, I also saw one of the worst Sylvester Stallone movies in the cinema. Don't tell my mum will shoot.
Yeah. Stop or my mum shoot.
Stop or my mum will shoot. Yeah. Gee. And I still haunts me, when he's having the daydream and he's in a diaper or something like that. Yeah. That's God.
Arnie also did that crap as well. The Junior, and isn't he?
Hey, Junior was pretty good.
Over a baby or something.
Yeah, that's true. But I still enjoyed Junior though. It was a feel good movie, that one.
Yeah.
80s
action heroes, aren't they the best? But I think Van Damme kind of like he really came around the late 80s. I feel he's more of a sort of a 90s.
I always put him as a 90s star. I never put him as an 80s star. Yeah. But then again, like he's kind of making a resurgence to a certain degree, but he's just not. I don't think he'll ever reach the heights of what he used to.
Yeah.
But just sticking on the Van Damme thing, because obviously you are a Van Damme fan, and I wanna firstly ask this because no one knows of this great show that he did. Jean-Claude Van Johnson. Have you seen it, and what did you think of it?
Is that good? Is that the one that was on Amazon? And
yes, that's the one.
Yes, I watched a couple episodes of it, but then I never got back to it. I assume it's still available. They wouldn't have just taken it.
It's still on there, but you didn't watch it all the way through. I thought it was fantastic.
I don't think I did. Yeah, I certainly watched some of it. Yeah.
Oh, that's just killed the mood of this interview.
Did he have like a fake beard or a mustache in the first episode? And pretending to be like a janitor. I don't know. I feel like the comedy probably didn't hit right for me. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I thought it was great to see him do something like that, and it kind of fit with everything that was going on in his life at the time too. It's like, that's all a front. He's actually this kind of a person. Like, I could so buy this because, like, in my mind, he's actually this in real life, but in this TV show, he's actually this. Like, yeah, I'm buying it. I'm
really
enjoying
need to rewatch that. Just the JCVD.
Oh man, how great was that movie?
Yeah, like. When I watched it, I probably wasn't mature enough to really take it in. But like as an adult now, proper, then I would like to watch it with fresh eyes and really appreciate what it is.
I was in my early 20s when it came out, and I remember just saying that there was so many reviews about saying how you'll look at him very differently. This is his best movie ever. And, okay, so I watched it, and I was like, oh, God, it's in French. Oh, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, the first explosion, I'm like, oh, yeah, all right, yep.
And then you get that massive like tracking shot action scene with no cuts like at the opening, and then there's like a little bit of action later. But I think that's just like he's like a imagination scenes. Like,
Yeah,
this
it was
is really good,
imagination.
that's how I do it, and then like cuts back to reality. So, but
Yeah.
that's I remember it being really good. But yeah, I need to watch that again.
No, I definitely watch it. It's definitely worth a rewatch. I definitely watch it at least once in a blue moon.
I feel like that sort of rebuilt his brand, really.
Yeah.
He got past his demons. And
Yes.
then it was, like, come out fresh.
And he can still do the splits at his age. So that's an effort and a half.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, Doomslayer, where can we find you on all your socials?
On Twitter, it's at Doomslayer_PW. I believe that's what it is. And that should be easy enough. And then on Instagram, El Hijo de Doomslayer. Instead of spaces, it's the underscore thing. And then TikTok, it's Doomslayer something as well.
Okay.
Yeah, I've got some fun TikToks I'll put on there. It's not just wrestling clips, but some other fun stuff as well.
No Facebook?
Oh yeah, there's the Facebook page. I always forget to do anything with it though. But yeah, El Hijo de Doomslayer on that as well.
Oh, no.
I really should just make a Doomslayer.
You need to get a YouTube channel so you can put more of your stuff on there.
A YouTube channel.
Oh, you do have one.
I've actually I've done interviews much like this actually. So yeah, on the Doomslayer YouTube channel, just the El Hijo de Doomslayer as well. You should be able to find it. Where like on show days, not every time, it just sort of depends how busy we are that day. If I've got, it's like, oh, I'm wrestling with somebody from interstate, so I really need to be on top of this. But other days of like, I might sit down with Dominic Knight, or the last one I did, I sat down with James Sly Silver, just side by side, and interview him, much like you're doing with me. But then I'll splice in like photos over the top or the wrestling footage. Like if it's a certain match we're talking about, then that's sort of playing in the background. So people get a bit of a taste of TCW, action wise, and meeting the people. Like my two favorite ones is actually my separate interviews with the owners. So there's one with Eddie Jones, which is the first episode I did, and then Dylan Daniels. So
well, I'll definitely have to check that out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely check that out as soon as we finish it, because I think that'll be pretty cool. I feel like you stole my idea, but but I'm guessing you've been doing it a little bit longer than a lot longer.
It might be a year, so I'm not sure how long you've been going.
No,
weekly, aren't you? I'm like every 2 months. Sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's all right. I love competition, but I also love to support somebody, and I definitely will also be supporting you on this one. So, guys, definitely check out his interviews on his YouTube channel. Link is all in the description. And with that being said, Doomslayer, thank you for being part of What If It's Cool.
Oh no, absolute pleasure. Thanks, Andy.
And that's the end of that episode. Want to be featured on What If It's Cool, or know someone with an amazing story that needs to be told? Reach out to me. I can be reached on whatifitscoolbusiness@gmail.com. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the show wherever you get your podcasts. Want more from What If It's Cool? Make sure to check out the YouTube channel where you can find the latest episodes of Mukbang Around, Reaction, and of course the podcast. And don't forget to follow What If It's Cool on all socials. It can be found at What If It's Cool. Keep that support coming. And until next time, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.